Hey all, it's JDC here. The Into the Unjust update just dropped for Helldivers 2 and I got to play a few missions of it earlier. What it's going to come with is a new planet called Oshaune, or Oshaune. I'm probably butchering that, so let me know if obviously I'm getting it wrong. And 2 new mission types, and what I wanted to do is basically just go through these mission types, my experiences of them, and give any tips that aren't obvious straight away when you launch into the game. I'll also be going through the major order, what potential risks that we have, and how we can try and work together to try and get it completed. So the first mission type I'm going to go through is called Destroy Spore Lung. So what this is essentially is like a huge spore, manufacturing thing where basically it's within a cave and we need to go into the cave to try and destroy it. The only way to destroy one of these is with a portable hell bomb, which you'll get like by default, so it means that you don't need to have the Servants of Freedom warbond in order to get it. I've got a clip that I'll show just in a little bit where I managed to do it solo because the rest of the team left. So it is possible, it's just it can be kind of hard to see where it is when you're in there, because you'll see like I was pinging like crazy and I wasn't getting, oh, this is the type of thing. So if you go straight to the center of where you can see it on the map, that you can get as close to that as you can and then activate your hell bomb. That's how I'd say is you can try and almost with certainty try and be able to do it. The one thing I would say is don't expect to survive, because between the hell bomb and all the bugs that you've got facing you, if you've got allies, you might be able to drop the hell bomb and leave, but honestly I think your mission, if you're the one carrying that hell bomb in your team, or maybe all of you are, I don't know, your mission is to destroy that. Then obviously once you reinforce, then you can go and extract or complete the other objectives. I played the mission on D10 and there was a lot of like supplementary objectives. So there was loads of shrieker nests and you had to destroy eggs as well. So just be expecting that when you go in there, that you have a lot of other side objectives and other primary objectives. Within these caves, you can't actually call down stratagems either. However, the saving grace is that there's kind of like a respawn and resupply area not far from obviously where the Spore Lung is. So that just means that if you guys do die within there, you won't be too far away. You'll just have to kind of try and work your way back in. Something that's really beneficial to note when you're in there is to stim prematurely if you know you're about to be hit, because stims have an effect after you've injected it for a few seconds. So if you take damage after, then you'll regenerate that health as well. So it's one of those, don't wait until you've been hit, because then you could be, one hit or one follow-up hit could kill you. So yeah, that's what I would say definitely to do there.
Never mind. Hellbomb, arm!
The second mission type is called Conduct Mobile Substance Extraction. So what that means is we get a super heavy vehicle called the GATER, and that will be on the map existing already. You need to commandeer it, drive it to 4 locations that are predetermined, and then use a stratagem call down in order to try and get the extraction happening. There's a few things about the GATER that you should know. The first one is that it's got an autocannon on the top. And while it might seem like a great idea to just start opening fire, it's worth noting it's only got 100 rounds within it. So you really want to try and coordinate with your team to try and have them get rid of the chaff and use the autocannon rounds to destroy more heavily armored enemies. The other benefit of it is that it can close bug holes. So it tends to be that bug holes will spawn around the areas where you need to extract oil. I always bring gas grenades on bug missions, so they're really good, but obviously you can save those if you use the autocannon instead. It is limited as to it where it can shoot, because obviously you've got a huge vehicle and it can only go up or down by a certain amount. The rig's tyres can be popped similar to the FRV, so what that means is that it will drive slower if they get popped, so you do need to defend it. The rig will be able to take a lot of punishment. I don't know if it can be destroyed. I would probably say if it took enough damage or enough stratagems, it probably could be. But I don't want to say that's confirmed because obviously I've not seen it myself. Another really important thing about the rig is that if you get into the driver's seat and then get out of the driver's seat, you appear on top of the rig. Now, because there's 2 seats in the rig, you've got the driver's seat and the autocannon. What I would recommend is having the 2 team members that aren't going to be inside of the rig get into the driver's seat, get out, and then be on the top. What that means is that they're less vulnerable than they would be if they were on the ground. As soon as you've finished all of the different extractions, a pelican will be automatically called to remove the oil or the substance from the rig. It's worth noting as well that as soon as this happens, the rig will explode. So make sure you evacuate away from it. I did have some general advice as well. So you might think that the Bile Titan is too big to try and squeeze through these gaps, you know, into the caves, but that's absolutely not the case. They seem to just be able to, like a cat, they can just go through anything. So you will be chased by Bile Titans and heavies through the caves. Something else I've noticed is that I feel like the chaff's been dialed up to 11. Like, there's a lot of chaff, and whereas I would normally take a Kazar, flamethrower and all this, I actually was like, this is not a good idea. So I ended up going with a Stalwart. I would say it does put you at a bit of a risk of Spore charges, other charges, and Bile Titans. So if you can, I would recommend having at least one person in your group with, you know, a Kazar. I wouldn't recommend a recoilless for these missions just because of the fact that you have to do a stationary reload. You want to try and have as maximum maneuverability as possible. So a Kazar on a warp pack or Kazar on a hover pack can be good, but I also wouldn't rely on flame on this mission either. It struggled to even kill a bile spitter, which I found crazy. And I would go for high magazine, high rate of fire weapons such as the Knight, Liberator, Carbine, or Stalwart. The other thing to note is that there's new enemy types called Rupture enemies. When they burrow underground to avoid your fire, they will usually tunnel towards you. Now, if they're able to rupture underneath you, they will do a lot of damage. As a result, because of this expectation on keeping mobile, I would definitely recommend boosters such as stamina enhancement, muscle enhancement as well, because of all the bile spitters and because of the mud or, you know, wet areas of the map. If you get slowed down by any hazards, it's very risky and you're most likely going to get taken out. The last thing I wanted to do was go through the major order. So as you can see, all we need to do is collect common samples and rare samples from Oshaune. The only problem is that we need to hold Hellmire in order for that to happen. Now, what I predict is going to happen is that, because obviously the way the invasions happen is by neighbouring planets. So we could get Nivell 43, for example, could attack Hellmire. Errata Prime could attack Hellmire, and so could Istanu. So they're going to originate from these planets. So either we need to divert our attention, or some of us do the major order within the planet of Oshaune, and some of us need to go to these ones and liberate them. But yeah, we'd need to coordinate on the Helldivers Discord or the Reddit to try and do that. What also is really important to note is the Democracy Space Station. So we've got an opportunity now. Oh. Well, it's currently unavailable, but before it wasn't. But essentially, if it comes back online, what we need to do is decide where it goes. So I think at the moment there was an option for it to go to Istanu or to Errata Prime. So if we manage to get it on one of these 2 worlds, what that will mean is that it will slow down how quickly the invasion happens. And also, if we donate to it using common samples, rare samples, and requisition, what that means is that we'll have additional benefits on that planet while we're trying to prevent the invasion. So yeah, just a really key thing there if you're a newer player and need to understand how that works. The last thing I want to say is that unfortunately I didn't manage to see a Dragonroach. That's a flying Bile Titan, so I don't want to say I know how to destroy them. What I would say is if a recoilless rifle can take it out on the trailer and a recoilless rifle can take out a Bile Titan, I'd be very surprised if it couldn't do it here. The only problem is obviously you only get 1 shot with the recoilless, and obviously it's flying, so unless it's stationary and attacking you, it's quite a big risk. What I would say is that, like with Shriekers, the wings are possibly a weak point. So if you can destroy the body or the head or take a wing, it might stop it from flying. As a result, and because there's not as many heavies from what I've seen, an autocannon might be a good pick, although you will need to remain stationary to reload it if you haven't got anyone doing it with you. We just need to come together and figure out a solution how we're going to be able to destroy those. But yeah, if this was useful to you, please like and sub.